Do you know what GOSPLAN is? Most likely you don't. Well, let me explain you in a way that you understand. I'm gonna give you a few stories that explain GOSPLAN. GOSPLAN is when you come to a local food store to buy bread, just a loaf of regular bread, nothing fancy, and it's 6 p.m., and your store closes at 9 p.m. So, in theory, you still have 3 hours to go. You have plenty of time. So you show up at 6 p.m. in this empty store. And you ask the cashier for a loaf of bread. And, you simply say, I want some bread. It was a, wheat bread every day. And the cashier looks at you and starts laughing madly. He says, "What are you, stupid? I see your face every single day. You buy bread, and you know better than I do that we only have bread for 2 hours in the morning, from 9 to 11, because, they give us very little, and everyone shows up and buys the bread in the morning. And if you show up after 11 a.m., you're hungry." I said, "Well, but bread, I just want some bread." He goes, "Are you stupid?" And there's no bread, and you go back home hungry. Well, there's another situation. You go to a store and you want to buy some blue jeans. I mean, just regular jeans. The shopkeeper looks at you like you are, something's wrong with you. And he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, you want to buy blue jeans? Huh. Wait a second, I'm gonna go around and get you a pair, a real good one." But then he runs around and he calls up a psychiatric ward ambulance because, he thinks that only a crazy person comes to a store and asking for blue jeans. Well, no sane, mentally healthy, normal person would ask for the blue jeans in the USSR. So, it's actually happened. Well, there's another story. When your parents want to buy you a desk, because you go to the first grade, you start school. That's a very important day. Well, their son needs to sit and do the homework at a real desk. They go to a furniture store and ask for a desk. And the clerk looks at them, looks up and down, looks at this regular folks, not party members, nothing fancy, not having fancy clothes, He looks at the very diminishing ways and asks if they have blood. Blood means connection to someone. They say, "No, we just want a desk." And he goes, "Well, if you don't have blood, then you need to, pay some extra for the desk." But they don't have anything to pay. They're already paying everything they make for the desk. They have nothing left. And they struggle as it is. Then the guy tells them, "And you're the last one on the list, and there are about 1,500 people before you, in front of you. And you show up here every first day of every month to check up and see the progress. And you finally get the desk 9 months later, by the time when you finish your first grade." Well, there's another story. When your dad gets into the hospital with a trauma and his blood gets infected and it gets real serious, life-threatening, and you talk to a doctor and he tells you, "Your dad needs hemodialysis. That will clean out his blood and will stop infection. But we've never had it in our hospital, so you, boy, go out there and get your dad a few bottles of hemodialysis. As soon as you come back with it, we will administer IVs and your dad will be saved. But hurry up, because you only have 24 hours, and after 24 hours, you're dead. This blood infection will get so bad that he most likely will die. And you ask a doctor, said, doctor, where would I get it? And it tells you, they have it in another hospital, the one for the party members. Go and ask them for hemodialysis. And you go and ask them. And the doctors, of course, ask for the money in exchange. And you give them everything you have for a month. For everything you plan, for food, for, shopping, for clothing, anything. Because there's nothing more important than getting those bottles of hemodialysis. This is what GOSPLAN is. It's a state system of economic planning. The planning of production, distribution, and consumption. I thought that ugliest thing of the USSR died along with the country back in 1991. But I guess not. And by the way, I did find and buy the hemodialysis, and it did save my dad's life. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you news updates on what is important happening inside Russia and what can explain things that are truly happening inside the country. What you will not find here is propaganda, BS, and lies. And what you will find here is common sense, truth, and logic. And quite a bit of emotions as well, because I am a human being after all. Inside Russia is where usual Russia explained by the unusual Russian. My friends, this is crazy. I am so sad and disappointed to give you this information because what I'm saying today is actually happening inside my country, Russia. GOSPLAN in the planned economy. But you know what? I'm jumping ahead of the locomotive, so to speak. A quick history lesson first. What's the main difference between communism and capitalism? Well, if you narrow it down to just two things, what would it be? What do you think? I will not have you guessing. First thing is freedom to have private property, and the second thing is free market economy. That is the difference between capitalism and communism. In capitalism, you have private property, and your property is protected by law. It's no one can take your private property away from you. This is what you have. This is what's yours. And free market economy is when no one forces anyone to make a product or add value, and people are driven by their needs. Okay, the markets always are in balance. In communism, vice versa. You cannot own anything because everything belongs to the government, to a small group of people called Politburo, and they control everything, including your life, because you also belong to the government. They let you use things. For example, they give you an apartment, but you don't own it. You have a right to use it, probably use it for the rest of your life, but it's not yours. And the second is planned economy. They plan for you. They know how much they think they know, but they plan for you how much you will consume, how much you will want, how much you want, how much of certain things you want, and so forth. So they make decisions for you. That's the very basic difference between these two systems. In the USSR, you couldn't own anything, and your needs were decided for you. In other words, there was Ministry of Planning called GOSPLAN that planned everything and anything. How much stuff, food, clothing, goods, furniture, was to be produced and to be consumed. They made decisions for people how much of stuff, how much of food was needed. I know that the ones of you who never lived in planned economy, it's really hard to understand this system, this concept itself. Someone in Moscow decide for you living so far away from Moscow what to make available for purchase for you. They plan your desires, they plan and needs, they plan how much you're gonna and what you will want. Bananas, you go to a store like wanting to buy bananas, they don't have it. And you ask them, well, why don't you have it? Why don't you import? Why don't you make a request? And the shopkeeper tells you, because you're not supposed to want it. I know it's hard to understand. It's like a parallel reality. Stranger things, but in real life. But you know what? I think the only ones who will relate are the ones who grew up in Eastern Europe and watching me right now. I lived in this strange reality. I lived in this parallel world. I lived in the Stranger Things. And it was my reality. It was my life. And boy, I hated it. I wanted to get away from that country, from that system, from that place so bad. And you know what? The system fell apart. When I was still a kid, I was 16 years old, the system fell apart overnight. In late August of 91, the USSR fell. GOSPLAN fell. Planned economy died. New Russia was born and free market economy had its flag up high. In the 90s, free market economy was the word of the decade. Everyone spoke of it. On TV, in the newspaper, in the kitchens, free market economy. That was it. We couldn't get enough of it. Enough of everything. The fact that we could buy anything at any quantities, anyhow we wanted, was intoxicating. I think many Eastern Europeans, you will understand. You remember how everything changed overnight. It was absolutely incredible. Oh, sustainable. What a freaking popular word these days. But GOSPLAN is GOSPLAN, no matter how you call it. Made out of stinking shit. Now, something happened today, okay? Something really strange. Something really strange. What's strange is the buffering. It looks like I lost my internet for a little bit. But back to normal. So today something strange happened. Another stranger thing happened. I read in the news. Hang on. Try to hang on. Try not to fall off your chair. Experts from leading Russian universities, including Bauman Moscow State Technical University, a real good one, and it's like a Russian MIT, Russian University of Economics, like Harvard Business School in Russia, Plekhanov University, MSU, Moscow State University, Moscow Financial Academy, they are developing a system of digital GOSPLAN. And this is year 2023. And this is what we went through in the USSR. And this is what a lot of people remember of what GOSPLAN was. They are developing digital GOSPLAN. which they propose to first introduce in key sectors of the economy and then make it basic with a return to the Soviet planned 5-year plans. I'll remind you, in the Soviet Union, the economy was divided, the planning was divided into 5-year periods called пятилетки. Gosh. The new GOSPLAN should unite all existing information systems that are part of the state. The Federal Tax Service, the Federal Customs Service, the Treasury, the Ministry of Industry and Trade, the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Digitalization. I think there are more databases that this new system must include. This will allow to quickly monitor the state of the economy in real time. You're right. That explains Vladimir Nelyub, one of the authors of this idea, director of Scientific Research Center, Digital Materials, Science, New Materials and Substances of Bauman Moscow State Technical University. I really have a hard time believing that a scholar of this caliber is saying that. Experts suggest starting the pilot project of the digital GOSPLAN this year, 2023, with industries where import substitution urgently needed. These industries are radio, electronics, automobile industry. The next in line are petrochemicals, agriculture, transport, and medicine. In 2024, it is proposed to prepare an integral model of state planning. It means a big one, all-inclusive. And from 2025 to create a body that will eventually centrally deal with it all. Well, I have the name for the body. The Ministry of Planning, of course, GOSPLAN. Yeah. I'm so upset my nose starts running. At the same time, it is proposed to switch to 5-year plans, believe it or not, back to the basics, back to the USSR, to which the achievement of planned indicators will be linked. Yeah, right. The government does not reject the idea of GOSPLAN completely, although the market status of Russian economy is ensured in the constitution. Now, it's really hard to understand how Russian constitution states that Russian economy must be free market economy, and how that coincides with GOSPLAN, easily. I don't know. Anyway, the GOSPLAN system will be used, but at the current stage, it will be analytical in nature and help to draw conclusions about the needs, workload, potential of individual industries. And if the pilot of GOSPLAN is successful, listen to this, it has a chance of total implementation in the Russian economy. A federal official says. The first Minister of Industry and Trade, Vasily Osmakov, spoke about the need for GOSPLAN in November of 2022. According to him, a return to Soviet control mechanisms is necessary in the defense industry in order to meet the needs in connection with the war in Ukraine and get an effect along the entire value chain. Not for the first time that happens, my friends, because in May 2022, another government official of high caliber, Anatoly Yanovsky, assistant to the deputy head of presidential administration, Russia's chief of staff, proposed to transfer the raw materials industry to the track of state planning. At the time when the world is beginning to abandon Russian raw materials, it is necessary to return to the old balance sheet technology. Yanovsky said. According to his idea, it is necessary to start with the deciding what resources the industry needs and to what extent. Yeah, I remember that. About 40 years ago, happening left and right. And the compiled balance sheets will help to understand when it's worth curtailing activities in certain industries. Yeah, right. The idea of a model of inter-industry balances, now this is how they call it now, GOSPLAN and planning. Apologize. The idea of a model of inter-industry balances which would determine the necessary volumes of production in certain sectors from above, of course, from the Ministry of Planning, was expressed by the Russian economist Vladimir Dmitriev at the end of 19th century. In practice, attempts to implement such system began in Stalinist Soviet Union in the 20s. After 13 planned 5-year plans, the system sank into oblivion, proving absolute ineffectiveness. The system GOSPLAN died in 1991. Now, you know what they teach you at college if you go for economics? The very, very first thing they teach. Here in Russia and all over the world, it's the same thing. In college, they teach you what is market economy and what is driven by. Its advantages over to planned economy. They teach you that free market economy is only way to go. That planned economy does not work. This is ABCs of economics. And now, in Russia, government officials of high caliber, educated, smart, they are staging the return of the planned economy. They're squeezing free market economy out of Russia. You know what? They know exactly what they're doing. Remember, I told you some time ago I made one of the streams who is and has been running Russia. Good old Politburo boys. A bunch of old 80 and 90-year-old Politburo boys are still in charge. They still hold high positions in the government. And they liked planned economy very, very, very good. They want it back. They want the old country back. They want us all back to the USSR, on the leash and enslaved. You know, what amazes me again and again, what amazes me the most is that majority of Russian people are buying it, including GOSPLAN. Am I the only one who is having bad memories of it? You know, it gets so absurd that the situation doesn't seem real anymore. You bringing GOSPLAN back with a joy, saying what a great system that is, that's going to help current Russian economy. Are you nuts? Are they sadomasochistic? Are they into BDSM? Because I don't see any other explanation. Or perhaps they're maniacs. They want to go down and bring us down with them. Or the other way, they want us to bring us all down and they don't care if they go down with us or not. Sometimes I think I'm alone in this Russian world. I'm the only one sane. I feel like Truman of the Truman Show. That it's all happening around me is staged. And all people that I don't even see, they're watching. They're watching my life. They're watching what's happening around me as a show. And I am, I don't even know who these people are. But you know what? This is not a show. This is real life. And this is my life. But I don't know what. I have no words to explain. If they bring GOSPLAN back, not only Russian economy will deflate a great deal, but its fundamentals will be changed, and it simply will not recover for the next 100 years. They are doing a hellish experiment in Russia to Russia. And you know what? These people who are doing it, they're really the enemies of Russia. And this has been my message for today. Thank you so much for coming, giving me a chance, listening and watching. I would like to ask you to give me your feedback. Please comment whether you find it interesting, valuable. Send me good words. That's very welcomed. And help me out. Give me advice how to get rid of this running nose situation. Um, Please help me to spread the message by making reposts in your social media accounts. Please join my Telegram channel called Inside Constantine's Russia. Description will be the link will be in the description below the stream once it ends. And if you found this message interesting, please like it and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any more updates like this one. At this point, I'd like to turn on the comments and converse. Please let me know what you think. At this point, if you're not seeing the comments, please refresh your page and you will have it. Just like I did. Mommy Lorna and the mods, howdy and thank you for coming back. Thank you so much. You're the best mods on internet and the usual suspects. Thank you for coming back and great pleasure to see you. And new faces also, new people, welcome. Thank you for giving me a chance. If you want me to notice your comment or question easier, please put it in caps and put Inside Russia after @ so it kind of jumps right into my eyes in a large orange box. I have first question from Berutus, as usual. Howdy, Constantine. Hope you're well. So far, so good. Thank you. Do you think they're trying to centralize the economy as a way to further consolidate power and basically tighten their grip on people's purse? Yes, yes, and yes. There's no other way. Tupla Lusto, hello from Finland. Howdy, howdy. Sending love to Finland. Von Holdinghausen. Are they insanely good? Okay, I'm glad you appreciated it. Funky Fudge 11. Purely academically, do you think Elvira Nabiulina did a good job? Yes, she did. Academically, she did a good job. Without her actions, Russian economy, she is the one who Russians should thank for still having more or less stable economy. Elvira Nabiulina. She did quite a few steps that helped slow down the crisis big time. It looks like it's not going to be a long Q&A session because I gotta go sleep. Now back to the question. With all the difficulties, she seemed to have steadied the ruble and the economy. I'd like to steal her to the US. Thank you. I agree with you. She is one of the very few people who actually assessed the situation right. She said at the very start in March, she was addressing Russian parliament saying, you know what, we're so fudged up. We're so in trouble. The trouble will start towards fall. And everyone was kind of shocked. It's like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Stop saying that. She said, well, I'm simply an economist. I'm telling you the way things are. And she's done quite a few things to stabilize the ruble. And ruble stabilization was done to minimize inflation. And if inflation was raging high in the summer, the economy would have been in much worse shape at this point. So she is good. She's one of the very few people that is good. RW, great to see you and great to hear you. Thank you so much. Running nose, use Afrin spray, oxymetazoline from pharmacy, advice from my wife, but I'm not sure. Her medical license is good in Tashkent. Good enough. I will use it. From now on, I will have a spray of some kind. Well, oxymetazoline will do. I will try that. Thank you so much. Tunui Tahitian Fire 987. Thank you. I'm guessing Russia's economy will start to look like China's with so-called market socialist economy. No, it's going to look much worse because in China you have semi market economy, or perhaps even not semi, but three quarters of market economy. They don't have state planning. Jeffrey S. Happy Valentine's Day in care of Papa Samuel off to the pretty one. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Mr. K, you're the best son if Papa could have. Thank you. You will reconnect in the kingdom of heaven one day. Thank you so much. Thank you. Beatus. Okay, I read that already, I think. To do the same question twice. Oh no, that's a different question, right? What would be the economic implications for Russia if returned to central planning model given its historical failures and current trend toward market-based systems? Well, current trend toward market-based systems has been averged, like turned back. Well, economic implications are very clear if you turn into market economy, very clear, and you don't have to have experience of 70 years of having it before. Everything's gonna fall apart. There will be a shortage of everything. The people who will be taking advantage of the system at the expense of other people and all these not so wonderful things. Thomas Love, I recently saw a documentary about Tashkent, if I remember correctly. There was a place in the middle of town with a huge pot. Have you seen it? I've been there many times. It's called the Pilaf Center. Central Asian Pilaf Center. It's the best pilaf you can find in the world. I actually made a movie about that. I have not released it. I'm gonna release it for the sponsors and patrons only. But yes, definitely place worth checking out. Peter Tarasovich, I'm sorry what's happening in Russia. Thank you so much. Me too. I am so very sorry. But Russia is self destroying itself. No, destroying itself. It's like someone sinister, like, I don't know, a devil or, I don't know, demon or something, has taken control over Russia and just destroying everything for people, you know. This is how it feels like. Kamil S. Atrivin. We have Atrivin here in Russia. Thank you. I'm not drinking rooibos tea, rooibos. Robin, I've had running nose on and off all day today. It's not due to the tea. Sam K, I thought everything was going according to the plan. Me too. At least what I've been told about 125 times. Golden Griffon, very interesting but unbelievable. Agreed, agreed. But I would also add, very tragic. Alison Marlowe, howdy, howdy. Theodore from Scotland. Davorin Pintar, hi from Slovenia. Howdy, howdy. Sending love from Uzbekistan. Maltidaki, good nabend. Frank in Texas, if you live next door to East Berlin, then you know exactly what I was talking about. Scott, thank you for nice words for Natasha. Great Southern land. How can there be free market economy when what? I think you're stopped half sentence. Fact checker. I'm back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are. Boy, back in the USSR. Yep, that's true. Peter from Budapest. You must remember how planned economy and what planned economy is like. It's not pretty, you know. The S from East Germany. Welcome back to the deficit or Buchenwar, how we called it in Germany. You have no idea. I tell you what, comparing the USSR to East Germany, my wife, when she was little, and her parents, they went to Berlin a few times, East Germany, and every time they told me that come back absolutely shocked because East Germans, they lived so much better than the Soviet people. It was like going to another planet. So you think you had it bad? Go to Cuba now, and this is how we lived in the USSR. You will see. Empty. Empty stores is nothing. Okay, I still remember those. JR, we had the best intentions, but it turned out like it always does. Greetings from Czech Republic. JR, howdy. Thank you so much. Děkuji moc. Great to see you here. Thank you. And there is Luke King sending his question and support. Surely planned economy could be a trigger for uprest. I don't know. I presume people won't easily give up their private assets. You'd be surprised, Luke. After what I saw, I keep on getting the same question. Well, surely if it happens, then Russians would uprise, No, they won't. Because the worst thing happened. Their children, their boys, were taken from their hands. They gave them up voluntarily. They were crying, they were hurting, but they were giving their boys away. Sons, children, forget about shortages, forget about assets, private property. Sons, their children, they were giving them away to mobilization. I told that story many times. After that, I think nothing can make Russians uprise. Hello from spring in Poland. Everything is running here too. I feel for you. Pamela J. Thing is, I'm not that allergic, you know. There's no spring in Poland here. It's February. It's snow on the ground. I was here last April. Guess what? No allergies, nothing. Everything was fine. Isabel Ligo, you're a hybrid. That's why you're awake and have another perspective. You will never be able to understand your peers in Russia. It's because you're different. Hybrid. I'm either a hybrid or a mutant. All right. Cindy, Left Bunny, thank you so much. If it was made to a movie, no one would believe it. Hands down, I agree with you. Dracula, are you the Count himself? My condolences to Russian economy from Czechia. Mine also from Uzbekistan. Danish Robowolf, hi from Denmark. Hello, hello. Evil Dali. It seems that Russia is turning itself into a really weird reality show. You know, very good words. This is what I was trying to say at the very end of the stream. It sure does. It's like some one sinister being that has taken control over Russia and has been making it into a really weird reality horror show, you know. Airborne snail, I can't help it, but I loved it. I think, well, I just don't know how to express it in the right way. That's how I feel, you know. Thank you so much. Sending love to Sweden. And the second, right after Airborne Snail, another Swede checking in. Von Holdinghausen checking in. Sending love to Sweden from Uzbekistan. And there's a question from Damien Da Silva. And as usual, the question is good. In the West, we have a saying, we all deserve the governors we get. Vote wrong bad, don't vote bad informed, vote good. Moral of the story, where the people are always to blame or praise, no one else. Not a question, and it is very hard to disagree with you. Thank you for the support, thank you for the wonderful statement. I hands down agree with you. KNT, keep going. Thank you so much. You can count on me to keep going. Thank you. Even when I'm sick, I will keep on going. Linda Gordon, not much difference between Soviet times and present. It did not work before, won't work now. You're absolutely right, except for 1 year before, things were more or less normal. You know, we didn't have this blend SHIT. We didn't. Everything was. The government was going overboard. Yes, it was tightening the screws. Yes, but it was taking away freedoms, but it was still bearable. And now it snapped. Pseudoephedrine. Drain those nasal passages. Usually use. I mix water with salt, and I try to rinse through. Janine, howdy. DJ, will the Russians accept it after having lived the last 40 years in market economy? Again, if they accepted giving up their kids to mobilization centers, where they most likely the kids would die, knowing that, cry and screaming, but still giving their kids away, I think they will accept anything. We're just talking about money. The kids are so much more important. Brother Randall, thank you for another strong message. Agree with the assessment. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Randall. Good evening. Looks like you need to take your future plans without Russia. I hope you will be able to retain your property. David, even better to sell it at a good price. Constantine needs some Vicks for his cold. I will try. We have holes, not Vicks, but holes. I think that's the same thing. And Z-Lord Raptor, Putin wants GOSPLAN. I'm not sure about Putin, but the government has talked about that, the government officials. And I don't think that a fly flies by without Putin allowing it in Russia. So I think he knows. Kathy RN, I came in at the end. Your information is appreciated. Very interesting for me to hear. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kathy. God bless you too. Mia Emilia, I know what you're talking about. Are you fellow Eastern Europeaner? Europeaner. A fellow from Eastern Europe. Did you also have meat cards to buy meat in the shop? We never had meat cards, but we had butter cards. Butter, sugar, 89, 90 we had salt cards, soap, and something else, I don't remember. But we had like a bunch of cards. Same BS was in Poland. I remember the ending. Even dentists, we had to queue 4 hours to get appointment. Yep, same thing. Same thing. And you know what? BS is naming it very softly. The S, what's the lowest point of East Germany? East Berlin. Everything flows there. I didn't get it as a joke. Scott Tremblay, inside Russia, Constantine, does this news open opportunity for Russian refugees to provide goods and materials to Russian civilians? Didn't get the question. This news open an opportunity for Russian refugees to provide goods and materials to Russian civilians. Well, at this point we can provide, and they buy because, everything is sanctioned in Russia, so Western companies cannot sell anything directly. So they sell around. Russian people set up companies like Uzbekistan, buy Adidas in China, and bring it to Russia. That type of thing. That's what is possible today. Yes. But you know what? I personally don't find it very honest. Skanitas, good evening. Do you think Russia is becoming second North Korea? I think so. Amir, howdy. Economic tsunami has hit Russia so hard. Do you see any relief in sight for the average Russian? How far do you think they can be crushed before there is no spirit left? There's also potatoes. Done it before. I did it. You go out in the spring and you plant potatoes and you grow it in the summertime and you harvest it in September and you eat it through the winter, and this is how you survive, and you have plenty of water, and you survive on that. And if you're not crushed on that, then you cannot be crushed on anything, Amir. Russians are not Americans. They will not take it up and go to the streets to protest for something. And if I'm wrong, I'll be very happy to be wrong. Natasha from the Emerald Land, happy Valentine's Day to you all. I don't know, is it appropriate to say happy Valentine's Day? I think it's like very private, intimate thing. I say it to my spouse and that's it. But if it's appropriate, then happy Valentine's Day to you all. Mark Bramlett from Jacksonville, Florida. Howdy, howdy. Bob, interesting about the collectivist economy. I'm sure it's based on a medieval serfdom, not fiefdom, but serfdom. The lord of fiefdom, serfdom, and serfs inflated by USSR to a national level. That's right. I agree with you. Pseudoephedrine, according to my doctor wife, not a spray, just a pill. Thank you, Galaxy Rider. Pseudoephedrine. Okay. Chris K. Do the older generation still look back to the good old days? Yes, in a way. Very, very, very strange. Very not easy question. Let's take my mom and dad when he was alive. They did look at the old good days, but not because the old good days were such a prosperous and great, but because they were younger, because they had more control over their lives, because I was young and they were the parents and they were the providers and they felt important and almighty. They could do anything they wanted to. That's how they felt. They felt self confident. They felt really good about their lives, and then everything started falling apart in the 90s. Okay, that's why they were looking to the old good days, but not the country, but their lives. And I think a lot of people do that. What the Russian government and propaganda does right now is it replaces the values. It squeezes out like your own life and says, okay, it's not your life was good, but that's the country provided you good time, good things, which is totally not true. Damien Da Silva, another question. Didn't Russians take it to the streets in 1917? No, they didn't. The Tsar regime was much more brutal. No, uh, no. Bolsheviks came and they were way more brutal. The Tsar actually resigned in February of 1917. How can you be so brutal and resign? So here, Damien, I disagree with you. Bolsheviks were so much worse. Little Dickens too. Agree with you. Kevin Hayes, consider you have a condition called rhinitis. You should take an antihistamine. I have the same condition. We'll sort it out. Antihistamine. Okay. Should go to a doctor and consult. Let me write it down. There you go. Thank you so much, Kevin. Rhinitis in Russian called rhinite. DK 87th. I think Russia is returning to everything. All. Gorilla Cookies, love from Gordon, Texas, USA. Thank you so much. Sending love to Texas from Uzbekistan. I've heard that everything is bigger and better in Texas. Is that true? Bob S., thank you so much. Haha, Sky Gosling is here. My little baby. Well, not little anymore, but 24. But howdy, Sky. Pleasure to have you here. Sky is exempt from all the rules. Mods, she can do whatever she wants. Not like she would misbehave greatly or speak Russian in the chat. Now I need Jake, Oля, Dasha, and Michael in the chat, and that's it. I'll be full house. Hopefully one day. You know what? That will actually make me very, very happy to have all of my kids at the chat all at once. Golden Griffon, thank you so much. Sending much love to you from Uzbekistan. Thank you. Dragon Phil, sounds like Russia and China are going to come into this together, as both militaries are training together. Still, I wouldn't say that. Not anymore. Not any longer. Not in the last year. Thunder Warrior, sorry to ask, and feel free to bypass, but do you feel safe? I wouldn't if I was speaking against Putin. I respect your stance. I am not feeling too safe. It's much safer than in Russia, but still, if you're speaking up against Putin, how can you feel safe? Can't wait to see all family in one chat. Would be epic. I agree. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you. I have seen on YouTube that a lot of Russians have alcoholics in the army, and it's true. Have a box of tea on me. Thank you so much. This is finest English tea, by the way. And cheers to you. Thank you for the support. Answering your question, most likely it's true. I was not in the Russian army in the front lines. So I didn't witness it, but from what I understand, from what I heard, I think that's true. Jeffrey, yes. If all your kiddos were in a stream, can you imagine how many of usual suspects would be sending in super chats? Hey, I didn't say that. Jeffrey, you said that. Okay, I'll take you up on that. Fabio, hi, did you ever see bold and bankrupt videos on USSR? Of course I did. Quite a few of them. Pseudoephedrine, some antihistamine can change sleep cycles and change your need for liquid intake increase. Also should not use chronically. Well, I'll be praying that I'll change my sleep cycles because my sleep cycle is so messed up right now. Z Lord Raptor, Back to the USSR or Stalin 2.0? I think it's gonna be combined. USSR, Stalin 2.0. Brian, why are the Russian and Chinese military doing drills on our east coast? I haven't heard of them. In the past, yes, but not presently. Where'd you hear that? RC Roscoe, I'm late. How was the info part? It was exceptional. um, RW, let's hope Russia isn't the new Hotel California. Such a lovely face, such a lovely place. You can check out at any time, but you can never leave. I hope not for me. KF, the radio said CIA, whatever. Anyway, KF, watch my yesterday stream. I made the entire stream on that issue. Mommy K, thank you so much for giving me the channel a little push. Thank you. Where is Sky? I keep missing her. There you go. Sky wrote something and deleted herself. Haha. Oh, my friends, I'm gonna wrap it up. Not feeling too grand. You know what this is? My prayer book, prayer list, as all the numbers, all the people with the numbers and without numbers here. You know, so please join me in prayer as usual. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming, and let's end the stream together. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you for giving us this day. Thank you for giving food on our tables, roof over our heads. And thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Thank you. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy. Give us wisdom to raise them good people. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and make those people responsible, and those people who can make this decision to stop the bloodshed, make them wake up from their lethargic sleep and actually make that decision. Help all the Ukrainians have been affected. Answer their prayers, make their wishes come true. Give them recovery, soothe their souls, please. Send all the Ukrainians angels so they keep people away from harm's way. Please help my country, Russia. Hurry the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, so they come down and get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Have Russia run by angels and be peaceful. Please help those who are traveling. Send them safe travels. Help those who are seeking asylum. Send help and good people their way. Help those who are helping Ukrainians. God bless them. Help the hungry, the homeless, the jobless, the ones who are struggling with their faith, the sick ones. Please send each person in such position your love, your help. Send angels to help out. Surround them with love and warmth, please. Give us all peaceful skies above our heads, because that's, along with our children, health and safety, the most important things in our lives. We realize what they mean to us, really mean to us after they're gone. So please keep our skies safe and peaceful, and keep our children safe and healthy. Reach out and speak to all women who are pregnant and making decision whether to keep their babies or not. Reach out and talk to them so they make the right choice. Thank you for bringing us into this community, allowing us to pray together. Help everyone who is praying along right now and or simply watching us pray. I would like to make everyone's prayer heard and answered. Make everyone's wish come true. I would like to ask for people who need your help. They are Wayne, Shirley, Debbie, Jen Allen, Finola, Lars Henrik's mother, the highwayman, Amanda, Essie from the Scottish Isles, Outlander and family, Cherise and family, David Porter, his wife, his daughter, and all people in Chernovtsi. Enjoy every minute. Lars, Susan Marshall, Beulah, Boss Simon, Janice Burgess, Alvin's mother, Alvin's sister. Let Alvin's mother rest in peace, please, and please help Alvin's sister. Teresa D., Marsha Tucker, Garcia Castellanos, Terry Carter, Joe McMahon needs help with medical insurance and help with health. Meta Spencer, Diana and family, Breast Friends, Fred Albina Fell, Michael Yukon, Life, Pamela J, Danielle, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Igor, Janine, Michael Milkevitz, Marlene, Paul Binns, Richard, Mallory M, Dirk Bisler, James Rhodes, Terry, Brittany S, Hannah and her children, Richard Burris, Angelica at Life, and Scan's family grandson, Grace, Barb, Randolph, Nell, Arkady, Yuri, and everyone in Mykolaiv, Ukraine, Harry's family, Berlinda's niece, Ian, James, Doug, Rafaela, From, Anna, Priscilla, Michelin, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Donald, Deborah, Lisa's son, Jade, Allison, Dave Moyers, Janice Burgess, Maureen M. and her sister, Mr. Hanson, Heidi, Bob, Tony, Kayleen, Rob, Umel, Jennifer, Matt, Ashley's family, Mr. Dean Spooner in his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Lisa Kumrian, Jacob, Adam Oliver, Treasure, Kyle's wife, Grace Philosophy, and her grandchildren and her family, Maggie, Carmen's sister, Vladislav and his father Sergei in Ukraine, Susie Myler, Gina Wayfarer, EMS paramedic Liz, Karen from Maine, Lori Miles, husband, Sherry, Layla, Philip's mother, and I'd like to ask for a few children. They are Cadence, Maverick, Sebastian, Coulter, Theo, Maddie, Ansley, and 2-year-old niece of Karine Vasseur. Also would like to ask for Karine Vasseur. Please send everyone recovery, their family strength. Show everyone miracle, please. And also please help children affected in Ukraine and in Russia. Thank you very much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. My friends, thank you for coming, giving me a chance, praying with me through this not such an easy stream. We'll try to use medicine next time. Thank you so much. You're awesome and you rock. Please come back tomorrow for another message. Carthago delenda est.